Or is he Russian?
I tried so many times yesterday. Finally, in fifth hour, I got it. He is living in Greece and Italy a very long time ago, like 2,000 years ago. But he found this pattern that kept happening with triangles, and it happens to be when you find out something, you can name it after yourself if you want. And he did. So his name is Pythagorean. So he named it Pythagorean after himself. What he found out about triangles is a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Why does it say legs? I don't think shapes have legs.
Turns out triangles do have legs.
What? Oh my goodness. I know. Our triangles.
The legs, if you look at that picture next to it, the legs are what he called A and B. Why did he call them A and B? Because he wanted to. The legs are always the two shortest sides. The legs are always the two shortest sides, A and B. The legs are always the two shortest sides, A and B.
It's like that one triangle.
Equilateral?
Yeah.
Good question. An equilateral triangle can't use his theorem because it only works if you have a right angle, and equilaterals can never be a right angle. Good question. Bryn.
That line you wrote, like there's nothing on it, is really straight.
Oh, thank you. Leighton.
Is that the like formula?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, if it's not obvious which one is the two shortest ones, you can also look for the two that make the 90 degrees. Those are the legs. So you've actually looked at those two sides when you're finding area of a triangle a lot in the past month. You just didn't know that they were called legs. Now you know. Leg A and leg B. That leaves us with the other side, which is opposite of the right angle. So once you find the right angle, if you go across, that is C, which has a fancy name called hypotenuse.
Should we write down that it's basically just C across from the right angle?
C is the hypotenuse. It's always across from the right angle. And actually, it's always the longest one, because if A and B are always the shortest, then C has to be the longest. So we have leg A, we have leg B, and we have hypotenuse C. He found out that they're related to each other. How are they related? Well, if you take A squared and you add B squared,
You get the C.
you find out C squared. That's how they are related to each other. So, don't panic. If someone told us leg A was 6, A would hop out, 6 would hop in. If someone told us leg B was 8, B would hop out, 8 would hop in. Now we know a little bit from yesterday. 6 squared,
36.
squared. 36 plus 64. 100. And now we need one more thing. C squared is 100. Maddie,
Would it be 10,000? Not 10.
you want to go backwards because I don't want C squared. I want regular C.
10.
How do I get rid of this little 2?
Divide it by itself.
Square root it. If I square root one side, I have to square root the other side. Missing hypotenuse. Pete, question.
So, if it gave you C already, would you just like do the both of them squared and then subtract?
Subtract, yeah. Isabel?
I raised my hand because when I was younger, I pretended to make a math formula where you could like find out all numbers were related, like no matter what.
You could call it the Newman theorem. Bryn?
So say, like, you did all that, and you added the two numbers, but it didn't come out to anything that it could be squared to. Then
So this one was a perfect. It was on our perfect list from yesterday. But then also from yesterday, if it's not a perfect, find the closest perfect to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 10 is a perfect, but if it's not, find what's close to it. Good job.
So C is already squared if you find that.
C is already squared, but we don't want that as our final answer. We want just regular C. So that's why we had to square root it.
Is that why we learned the square root? for this?
Can you imagine? So, I want to say box, but it's not really in a box, right? Just on the top, first example, A. So it says our legs are 3 and 4. Which one's 3, which one's 4?
Doesn't matter, you just add it.
Literally does not matter because you're going to be adding and you can add in any order. I do know that the legs are, here's your choices.
The shortest?
The shortest, C, B, or A?
A.
A and B, which one's which?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's that one property, the
Commutative property.
community property.
I do know what matters is that C is across from the 90. That does matter. So if it's supposed to be A squared, I'm going to write 3 squared. If it's supposed to be B squared, I'm going to write 4 squared. In a moment, I'm going to find C. Drake.
I looked ahead a little bit. If there's not a whole number for the answer, can you just do like the closest number to it?
Yep. 3 squared, 9. 4 squared, 16. 9 plus 16. Aubrey. Thank you, ma'am. Now here's what's tempting. It's so tempting to say, I'm done, I got it.
Which is 5.
But I didn't square root it yet. Missing side, 5. Also remember, C is supposed to be the longest. So did we get something longer than 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you got something smaller, be suspicious that it didn't go right. Which leg should I make 12? Whichever one your little heart desires.
We already know C though.
We do know C. B is missing, or A.
It's gonna be something less than 15.
It is going to be something less than 15. Because we know the longest one. We're missing a shorter one.
So we're just gonna do like
You do 15 to or the second power.
Maddie?
we're gonna switch the plus to a subtract.
We are in 1 second. 12 squared?
44.
15 squared.
225.
So now Maddie and someone else said this. Was it you, Pete? They said, if you can't add the legs,
Subtract.
then we subtract. Anytime, if you can't add it like it's written, you have to work backwards and subtract it. These problems, we're drawing lines down the equal sign. You don't have to, but it helps people. $144, see you later. $225 minus 144.
81.
It's tempting to stop here.
Square root.
Square root's our last step. I think it's a perfect. B equals 9. Was it labeled?
Online.
Thank you, sir.
How did you get 80?
This one, I guess, should have been feet, right?
I feel like I want to square it or cube it because I'm so used to doing that.
5 minus 4 is 1.
Oh, I know it down.
12 minus 4 is 8. We getting the hang of it? Now we're actually in a box, right?
What was the answer?
9. Square root of 81. What should I call 6? Here's my choices. A, B, or C.
A or B.
A or B. Whatever you would like.
We already know C.
How do you know that, C?
Because if you go straight from the right angle, it's
So A hops out, 6 hops in. B stays, C hops out, 9 hops in.
31 minus 36.
Can't add it. Guess we subtract it.
I think I can because it's 1, so
45?
Yeah. Wait.
Not perfect.
About 7 squared.
Thanks. Close to 7. So that's why that list from yesterday, that's why I said I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to torture you. You can just go to your list and see what 45 is close to. You're following okay?
Yep.
Ready for the next one? Oh, Isabel, she drew a nice little triangle picture. Who knew drawing the picture was going to be helpful? How am I doing so far? You had 15 as C and 8 as either A or B. Bryn,
I subtracted the 225 and
what?
I did the wrong number.
Oh,
I got 161.
And then we have to square root that, and that's not perfect.
Almost there.
you guys, in a whole 52 minutes yesterday and about 20 minutes so far today, you've learned so much stuff. Pete and Isabel looked at their list from yesterday. They both said almost 13. That list, I'm telling you, isn't it helpful?
I feel smart right now.
52 plus 20, 72. 72 minutes. You learned so much stuff in 72 minutes.
But you're doing something on there. I'm like,
I'm about to help you with this one. Are you setting it up? 21 squared. 441.
Ooh, thank you.
28 squared. 1184. Bottom left box, right? $1,225. Does anybody happen to know it? It's a perfect.
Is it 32?
Nope.
33. 31. 35.
Did you know that?
No, I just guessed.
I was gonna say it.
It's a perfect 35.
Do you calculate the equals for CP?
I'm just trying to show my work so that people understand. Last one.
I just realized that C isn't the one missing. Oh.
It's so easy when they flip the triangle to goof up A, B, and C. The right angle is your friend. What's across from the right angle?
14.
C is across from the right angle. Which makes 7 A or B. $14 squared is 196. Anybody?
Yeah.
I was testing my memory. Is there anybody that's a Harry Potter fan in here? Don't they call people perfects in the book? Like when it gets into books 5 and 6?
I think so.
Like if you're the head or you want the title for some reason. Can't remember. 196 minus 49.
147.
Yeah, one approximately.
Almost 12 or a little bit more than 12.
We're doing it faster than the teacher.
I was slowing down with my thought about everything. Think we're okay.
Are we doing from the book today?
Remember.